back in the day, let me come over here and sit down. When I was bang on the drugs, mate, and I was doing heroin, crack, I was running around doing crime. Jez let me camp here, let me stay here, and he see me at my worstest, right? Yeah. So Jez, what was that like? Me at my worst?
You are a hazard to society, basically. Yeah. You were unruly. You were a danger to other people. Yeah. You were a danger to yourself. Very much a danger to yourself as well. You had no respect really for anything or anyone. You were, to be honest, you were very not a nice person. You were somebody people didn't want to be around really. Yeah. It is now. He's the total opposite of everything I just said. I don't know what happened to him, but he's the opposite.
Yeah.
He's responsible. I don't know what transaction went on in his life or whatever touched him, but whatever it was wasn't a bad thing. But he's the most genuine, decent man. You would never believe the transaction that was made. You would never believe it. Trust me.
Cool,
it's totally opposite. I'll sit you down and I'll have long, very long, deep conversations with you. But none of it. You didn't take in any of it.
Yeah.
But I had many long conversations with you, trying to give you the best advice to help you, but you didn't take any notice of it. But the thing is, I didn't see you for a few years, and when I did see you, you were a new man.
Changed.
Yeah.
Changed.
You're a new man.
So just going back to when I was highly intoxicated on
Yes.
heroin and crack, speak a little bit about that as well. Like, what did you see me do? Like, be explicit. Well, what did you hear about I was doing that there when people was telling you stories? Like,
No.
Can you remember anything?
You were horrible. You were on drugs. You were robbing drug dealers. You were anything to get your drugs. You were going to any extremes. I wouldn't trust him with anything. He'd never do anything toward me because he looked at me like an older brother. He never would.
Yeah.
But to other people, he was a very, very danger, and he was a dangerous man.
Yeah.
Very. He was violent, and he could fight, and a lot of people were terrified of him. Because he was a menace.
Yeah.
He was a menace.
Yeah. And now, 12 years clean, 12 years away from all that, and I'm doing amazing.
Yeah, and that's the truth. That's gospel, God's gospel truth.
Yeah.
You may think it's big and it's clever and it's funny and it's cool. Trust me, it is not cool. There's nothing big about it. There's nothing cool about it. There's nothing clever. Or just going to be one big disgrace if you go down that road.
Well, you was a bit of a tearaway. You know, you like robbing people, taking their money, if I'm being honest. You was a bit of a bully. You know, you bullied a lot of people, you know, and if they didn't give you what you wanted, you took it. But yeah, he was quite a nasty man back in the day.
Yeah. What was it down to?
Down to drugs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Drugs, and that's it, what I can say, really.
All right, cool. So, go on, what am I like today?
You're a changed man. You're a man of God, which I love because you saved me on that as well. You introduced him into my life in this centre. You are now a decent living man with a family, a wife, with a job, earning money as well, and putting the Lord first in your life. But you are such a change around. He's a 100% change around from a character.
It's good.
John today, I've heard the stories about the old John, and I can't really speak for the old side of him, but known John a little while now, and mate, he'd always be there to lend a hand. He's always been supportive for me and always willing to sort of listen to me, as well as mountains of other people. I think he's a top-notch guy, and I've got a lot of time for him.
When I first met John, back in the day, he used to do mountains of drugs. He was a right fucking rebel back in the day, but yeah, he sorted himself out. He's a good old lad these days.
What was it like working with John Danes? It was never dull. That's what I would say. I really love working with you, John. You always had a very, very honest and very, very open approach to your work and to your relationships. So I always understood where you were, what sort of mood you were in, where I stood with you. Not that we came up against each other very often, we didn't need to. And I felt really supported by you. And that was really important because I knew that your job was to support people that would genuinely need it. And I had every confidence that you'd be able to do that. So I really enjoyed working with you. I thought you were very, very... well, you're a very kind person, really, really kind and very generous with your approach and very generous with your appreciation. So, I always felt that you appreciated my input when we had it. But I always felt I could have an honest conversation with you. And I felt particularly around the work that you were doing, that was really, really important. Because when you are supporting people into work, it's not just them, it is the wider team. So as part of a people team, I have to consider the wider team and the implications on them as well. So I always felt able to sort of talk openly to you if I had any concerns about somebody, or if I was concerned that bringing somebody in might have a trigger somebody else in the team. I thought it was really important I could have that conversation with you. Yeah. I also, from a personal point of view, I was dealing with my nephew and his struggle with drugs, and it was really, really fabulous to look and see you as somebody that had come through the other side, because that drugs have not been part of my life, have not been part of my family. So for us, like helping Dan was the first time we'd had to deal with that. And we were seeing lots of people in crisis, but, I hadn't personally known somebody that had come through the other side. So on a personal level, it was really, really good for me to look at you and think, okay, this can be okay. On a personal note, it was really important as well.